Oh my God!
Part of the journey is the end.
We got to do a drag, and I've been saying it myself for years. We got to do a drag.
Showtime.
Oh, sorry.
That's right, baby. We're back. We're back on the final weekend of the Mythic Legion's Baethir the Dragon campaign, and I'm pumped. How you doing, Ryan?
Pretty good. I do like that one picture that we totally weren't photoshopped in.
Yeah, that picture that we totally took and wasn't hastily photoshopped this morning because I didn't have a shot of all four of us the morning of the dragon reveal. So yeah. So what do you think? Special intro for the last weekend show of the dragon campaign.
It's beautiful, dude. Brought a tear to my eye.
That's what I do.
We're gonna hit 4,000.
All right, let's bring out. We got a couple of guests here with us to, ring in this last weekend of the Baethir campaign in style. So let's bring them on out. First of all, the man behind the Dork Lair himself, Bill Junowski. How you doing, sir?
Doing well. How you guys doing?
Great, man. Welcome. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm physically feeling run down because I started up my full workouts again post injury. But it's kind of a good kind of rundown. But otherwise, I'm feeling great.
That's awesome. Are you going to do it the same? I know before it was like pretty much every day you were going for like a whole year, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
So
more?
I'm just back to that same program. It is 5 days a week. And I also try to run or ride the bike as well on those same workout days. But yeah, it's just like getting back into it after a while. It's it hurts you, and you're like, you don't eat enough. I don't. I end up not eating enough because I just eat the same amount of food, even though I'm burning like way more calories. So it's just like you feel like hungover basically. But I'll be back next week. I'm going to be rocking. I'll be back on track and just feeling good.
That's awesome, man. How's the hand doing?
It's a very slow recovery. It sucks. It's not even fully straight. But it's not bad. I do put the splint back on when I work out, just so I'm not fully like gripping with it, because I don't want to like snap it again. But it's fine. Whatever.
Some people like a little curve, I heard. When you're holding a figure, it's sometimes easier, right?
Yeah.
All right. Another very special guest coming to the stage. 1-6 shooter himself, Trevor Williams. What's up, my man? How's
that threw me all off.
It's a direct
What's
reference
going on?
to the song that I
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm doing good. I'm not doing any of that. And I'm still worn out and hungover. So I don't know.
Yeah, I had like some people may have heard me complain about on this show. My knee was all jacked up and was giving me a lot of problems for a couple of months there. And so I couldn't literally do anything. And I just recently, I love chocolate, Joe G. Just recently went, I'm trying to go back to the gym. I'm doing physical therapy too. And I got on the elliptical for the first time in 3 months or something like that. And when you do something like that, it's like the first time you've ever done it. Your body is everything is discombobulated. Nothing is of the same strength. It's crazy.
And you try to overdo it too, right? Go
far definitely.
For what you should be doing, right off the bat.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, just to get us kicked off here, we're here to talk about the Dragon, of course. We crossed 3,000 backers yesterday. We're heading into the final stretch here, the final countdown, as it were. Bill, I'll go to you first, man. What are your thoughts about sort of what your expectations were and what your hopes were at the beginning of the campaign? And now as we slide in to home plate, what are you thinking?
I am pretty blown away by the whole campaign, by all of the stuff it comes with. I know some people are a little underwhelmed by the final figure, but it's just a bonus. It was never even going to be added. So I'm pretty pumped. And I actually really like it because I'm excited, going into that 4,000 reveal, it was Benegar and an Ashen skeleton. And as a pop and swapper, I'm kind of like, okay, that's awesome. These are great figures. They'll be great standalone, awesome figures. But then when they revealed the Fury figure, it suddenly opened up pop and swap possibilities with Benegar. And I'm like, now, and I've always been kind of like, do I want a second dragon? But now I'm like, I really want it. I still haven't fully decided yet, but I may over the next 24 hours sell some stuff and try to bang out another dragon.
Maybe during the show, bring some stuff up.
That's a good question. So, Trevor, same question to you. I know you came in pretty bullish on the whole campaign. And there's a little bit of a lull in the middle, but not too much. But now we've crossed that 3,000 threshold. We're kind of that 4,000. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's at least a possibility at this point. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I overestimated a little bit, what the the funding was going to be, and I guess I really didn't think about it, even though we talked about it on the show and stuff, that there really is no incentive to get this early. You know what I mean? If you're smart with your money, maybe you'd wait till now to back it. But if you've got it, if it's sitting there, go for it. And enough people did that. I'm pretty surprised at where we are at this point. I personally think we're going to hit the 4,000 mark between today and tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if the Fury is going to be it's not going to be the tipping point. I think people who are going to get back it between today and tomorrow are probably on board with it, or
Yeah, I think so.
hedging, like, I don't know, maybe. And then they're going to get that FOMO thing like we all do at the end of a Kickstarter, and they're going to order it. The Fury for me is cool. I like it. It's, I would have liked a little more of that light green in there, but I like it. It's nice. It's, again, like Bill said, it's a bonus. You know what I mean? You're going to get 3 figures, 1 deluxe figure and 2 basic figures with this thing. Excuse me. That's pretty good, man.
Curtis
all that
made a
stuff
good point
is the same.
in one of the one of the conversations about it. He's like, I'm undecided if I like it or not. I'm gonna get it in hand. If I like it, I'll keep it. If not, I'll sell it and cut another $100 off my dragon or whatever the heck it will be.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. People are already talking about wanting to army build them. So that's the only way you're going to be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, if you're not thrilled with that one, and yeah, it's great. It's a great bonus to sell it for sure.
Yeah, first of all, I should. Some people might notice that LeBron is not here. Late Night is not here right now. He was having some technical issues, so as of right now, he's not able to hop in. But if he gets that solved, he might be joining us. So
Sweet.
Late Night, I hope you can hop in, man.
Get yourself to a Panera's or something.
Turn it off and back on again.
That's right.
Eric.
Have you tried plugging it in, unplugging it, and plugging it back in?
Have you checked the cables?
Have you watered it? But as far as my thoughts on the Bay of Thieves Fury, I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's very much like I see it as a yin to Benegar's yang. I do think they go together pretty well. And it's a good point as far as the resale idea, because I think in all of the discussion with the reveal over the last week, when we got like the early cell phone picture from Wednesday or whatever it was, and then we started getting the better pictures as the week went on to the full reveal yesterday morning. I don't know that I didn't see a lot of people talking about the resale value the way people have in connection with Sir Benegar, but all of the reasons why Sir Benegar could potentially fetch a high price on the secondary market, they're there as far as Bay of Thieves Fury goes too. There'll be the same number of Benegars made as Furies if we hit that 4,000 mark. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
The
Benegar's got the
pauldrons.
cloth goods and a few, it's a deluxe, but there's also like you only need one Benegar if you're kind of like keeping to the lore. You want multiple. So there could potentially be more demand for the army builder,
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting
so.
to see how it plays out. There's so much stuff in the box. And then if people are initially parting out, and I do think that another thing that's going to drive a lot of sales at the end are the flippers. There's going to be a lot of flippers. And why would the flippers buy early when they don't even know what it's coming with?
Exactly.
Waiting to the end is the move for the flippers. So there's going to be a lot of people buying extras to flip. And so like, I'm curious, like when it does come down, having if you part one out, like let's say you parted out the whole thing, right? Including the dragon, you just bought one and you parted it out and you sold all 4 items, assuming, the 4,000 hits. How much would the dragon be? How much would each of the 3 figures be? Like, there's a ceiling to that, so it could kind of keep the prices a little reasonable for those people who are like, I can't back it just to get this figure I want. Like, there could be a little window of time after release where some of these certain pieces of it, like maybe Benegar is the one that's like a $200 figure and the other ones are like 75. I don't know. I doubt it, but like there could be a window where some of them are not terribly expensive,
Oh yeah, immediately not expensive. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think you're looking at $1,000 if you part it all out at least. To begin
I would think so.
Oh yeah,
I think more than that.
And well, depending how much you can sell the dragon for, you know what I mean? Like it's already, people are like, oh, 550. I mean, yeah, you can't get it anymore, but without the figures,
yeah.
I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've been thinking all along, like if I got another one, we parted it out, it would be $550 for the dragon, just
the dragon,
the dragon. I don't think you can charge $600-700 for just
No.
a dragon at that point.
Not initially, no.
No.
You'll have to see how it goes. I mean, a big issue with the dragon is going to be, shipping. I think there'll be a demand for it. I think there will be people that will pay $500-600, maybe more.
Yeah.
But then they're going to have to foot the bill for shipping, or if you can figure out a way to sell it for local pickup or sell it at a show or something like that, that'd be a big move.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see too, like
What's up, dude?
how many flippers really there end up being because
Hello there.
hello, like just the current economic situation in the United States and all around the world, really, like, is that going to prevent sort of like, people who are buying this thing to profit, like, are they going to even have the funds to kind of do that? It'll be interesting. See how many are there actually out there for resale later on.
I don't think between today and tomorrow that's going to change, but I mean, people who are smart about it will be thinking about the future.
Think about the future, Eckhart.
Okay.
Yeah, and the more I think about it too, even though they'll be made in the same numbers, Benegar and Fury, I do think Benegar is very much tied directly to the dragon, right? So a lot of people that are buying the dragon are going to keep Benegar. So I think more people will keep Benegar and be willing to sell Fury, I think, ultimately. So I think there'll be more Furies available, but still, it's still a pretty small number.
Yeah.
Jordan here with the Chase gang.
Kevin Hamilton says the second head isn't a female though, but it's a mask, so it could be a female under the mask.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, all right, let's get some pictures for what we're talking about here. So, So yesterday we crossed the 3,000, yesterday we crossed the 3,000 threshold. That means the Ashen Skeleton, I do have a picture of that coming up too, is unlocked. So the Ashen Skeleton that everybody saw at Legion's Con, either live or in person, that's now part of the package. 3,500 is the next stretch goal. That's the accessory set that goes along with the skeleton. And then it's on to 4,000. And again, this is just the accessory sets themselves are fully unlocked. They've been fully unlocked for a few days now. The Fiery Breath set, fully unlocked here. All the accessories that come with the Burning Night. Same thing with the Epic Wing set. The reason why I said it like that all weird is because later on in the show, so this was my dragon purchase was I purchased my dragon on day one during Off-World. Then I purchased the Fiery Breath set a couple of weeks ago during Saturday Dragon Live, excuse me. And then today, I'm going to purchase the Epic Wings set live on this show today too. So I will have the full package, the total package for the dragon. I haven't asked you guys yet. Are you guys getting full package? Just the dragon? Trevor, you've got everything all in, right?
I got 2 everything all ins right now. I've got some wings sets and some fire sets to order for some people I've done some deals with. And I don't know what else I'm going to do beyond that. We'll see. I don't know.
I remember right at the beginning you were cutting deals as far as those accessory sets. What was the focus again for you? Was it getting the Burning Knights, the figures? What was the
just getting the figures, getting extra figures, and not to flip, at least not. I'm not putting them out there right away. I mean, someday I'll reserve the right to. But I don't know. I'm weird with this line, man. I like to have a couple in reserve. I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff now, but at least the rarer ones, you know what I mean? Like if I can get an extra one for a good deal or something like that, I'll do that. I don't have a lot of those, but I have a few.
What are your thoughts on that? Because I would, I just told you what I'm ordering. And while I thought about going in on a second dragon, I'm probably not going to do that. That's I would have to sell the second dragon. I don't need a second dragon. So I don't think that I'll do that, but I could see myself going in for a second Fiery Breath set to get another Burning Night. But what about the prospects of selling off the rest of that stuff? So like the flame effects, the head and neck. Do you think there'll be an active market for that stuff when this is all said and done?
I think if you look at the numbers, only half of the people who bought a dragon bought the wings, and then like maybe 3/4 of the people who bought a dragon bought the head or the fire set.
Yeah.
So I think there will be a market. Like there will be people out there who are like, you know, wanting to pick those up, regretting not ordering them, and if they can just get the part, maybe they'll just do that. You know.
I think with the head and fire, it's going to be. I don't know. They might be equally because I was going to say that, like Bill said, like a good amount, 75% of the people have ordered those with the dragon. But there will be those people who just either didn't do it because they don't have the money right now, but will when it comes in, or may when it comes in at some point. And there may just be people like, hey, they've seen it. Somebody's used it in a dio or whatever, like we've been talking about, and it just looks cool like that. And yeah, I want that, and I don't care about the figure. The wing,
or even just the head, just that.
Yeah, the secondary head for a second head.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I'm going to display mine, by the way, is I'm just taking the head from the flame set, and I'm putting the big wings. So I got a little piece of everything, but I'm not going to have the fire on there. Not going to do the new neck. It's just going to be the kicked back neck with the screaming head and the big wings. Kind of, I want to try to have it set up sort of how it is in the, in that display, the original display with the rock and stuff, where he's kind of a little more upright, sort of like climbing up, and then have it behind me right here where my Razor Crest is there. And so that it'll be like there looking forward, sort of, hopefully. We'll see.
You may be able to break that up as well, like to a smaller, like the head and neck, the fire pieces. I mean, they have some use for ACBA or toy photography, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Things like that, like with the Human Torch or something like that, or just a fire effect, like one of those.
I could break in real quick here, not to interrupt, but I could break in. We do have one more special guest here, a guy who I think is going to be very busy this weekend for some reason. Mr. Jeremy Gerard.
Jeremy, I have a question real quick. I have a question. So I know that the C-clamp won't technically fit on a skeleton arm. But is there any chance you could include the C-clamp with the Ashen skeleton? This is definitely going to determine whether or not I order another dragon. I'm just saying, if you guys could include that, it might push me over the edge to order another dragon. I know a lot of people would order another dragon if it came with the C-clamp. I'm just saying.
I'm so bad with sarcasm. So as you're saying this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to reach out to Joe and see if the C-clamp was included in that. Whenever anyone makes a request, my first reaction is just to think about how viable it actually is. But yes, there's definitely people have their causes, their things they want.
He was so like straight with it.
So straight. He jumped right in. He was
I know he was full of crap from the beginning. I knew that's where it was going.
I thought it was a joke, but then the more he talked, I'm like, I mean, would that be cool? Jeremy, first of all, I have to say thank you for joining us. Seriously, I know this is a crazy busy weekend for you, so we appreciate some of your time. But we appreciate any thoughts that you might have. But first of all, I just have to ask, since you're on here, this must have been a very anxiety-filled, stressful process for you guys, because it's such a big project. It's such a hallmark project for the community, for the studio and all this, and then it's a crowd fund. So, the hallmarks that have to be hit that are very public, which is not usually the case with a pre-order. Cross that threshold, it's getting made. All the both accessory sets are getting made. The Dragon's getting made. Sir Benegar's getting made. It's looking really good heading into the last weekend. Where's your mind at right now? Where's your thoughts with it?
I mean, I'm really excited for where we are headed into this weekend. And before I go forward, would you like a numbers update?
We would love a numbers update.
Let's hear it.
So I literally just got ready to post it and didn't hit post yet, so I could do it here live.
Do you want to do a Price is Right? Do we want to do a Price is Right then?
Okay.
31 something.
Was it 3106
or something this morning? 3105.
So what I'll do right now is before I post it, I'll bring up the actual post from this morning because I haven't refreshed it yet. And I'll say where we were as of this morning, and then I'll say where we are right now as of essentially 3:30. So I'll go in backwards order, right? Because the two add-on sets, nothing else is being unlocked for those at this point. And I'd love to talk about that in a minute as well, because I know I commented on a post in the Cabal about that. But Epic Wings this morning was at 1,795. It's now at 2,082.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
I guess we're over 33.
That one had the biggest jump, I think. I think there's a lot of people who have spread out their purchases who they may have gotten the Dragon earlier and they had decided to hold off on the wings. And now that the Ashen Zombie is fully unlocked.
Right over here. Jonathan's doing that today, right?
Yep.
That's what you said. Yeah.
So 2,082. Fiery Breath was at 2,379. That is at 2,549. Wow. So about 180. And obviously the big one, the one that everyone's curious about, that was at 3,105 this morning. As of right now, it's at 3,275.
There we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
We are 225 away from unlocking the Skeletons upgrade set, and we are 725 away from Beathir's Fury. And with that, I will post this update to the website. Here we go.
Piece of cake.
Nice.
So there we go, guys. A lot more progress. That's a huge jump for the Epic Wings. But I think just like you said, a lot of people were waiting till the end in general. And then also a lot of people that maybe were on the fence, maybe with the Epic Wings, by the end are going to be like, you know what? This is my last chance. I want to get it.
Yeah. So you asked again how I'm feeling. I'm feeling great coming into this weekend. You know, this has definitely been a stressful month. It's been a very busy month between all of my travel and, you know, excuse me, having to do these updates every single day literally means I haven't had a day off technically since March 7th. So every single day, the process of checking these numbers, updating the graphics, making the post, responding to everything, it has been an absolutely insane couple weeks. It's been a really fun couple weeks, though. But, you know, like every campaign in that midpoint slump, which we didn't have too bad a slump. Like we moved Bedegar into the main package, and that gave us a really big burst right in the middle there. We got that thing funded. So I feel like our slump was not as bad as some campaigns are. But now that we're getting into this final weekend, you know, you're looking at the numbers and you're like, ooh, 4,000. Are we really going to be able to get there? But the last couple of days have just climbed so much so quickly that I'm feeling really confident that between today and tomorrow with this big, you know, telethon live stream everyone's doing, that there's going to be a lot of support. There's a lot of people, I think, that have been waiting to make kind of an event of it. I want to be able to, you know, place my order while I'm live on the air. So hopefully we see those numbers really climb. And, you know, tomorrow before the end of the day, I get to go on one of those live streams and announce that we've unlocked Beathir's Fury.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm thinking, number one, 3,500, that's getting hit probably today, but relatively soon.
I think so. Tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
4,000 is in sights 100%. And just, you know, at the beginning of the campaign, you know, I think a lot of us thought positively to like varying degrees, but it's kind of difficult because there's so much unique about this campaign. You know, that's different. Then you have the base dragon that sort of has everything you need with the dragon, but there's these two other accessory sets that factor into the equation. The fact that when you put your pledge in, the money gets pulled at that time. The fact that it's the studio doing it itself. Jeremy, was this this is the first crowdfund for the studio that you've been involved in since you went full time, right?
Kind of. I mean, I was somewhat involved with the video game campaign, but that one was such a weird one because that was under our banner. I was working at the studio. I'm trying to think if I was working. I think I was working full time. I mean, I helped those guys out a lot, but at the end of the day, they were running the campaign. So it's I've definitely been more involved with this one than I certainly was with that one. And yeah, of course, the first two I wasn't involved with, except for as a backer.
Right. Has there been something, what was the thing that was the biggest surprise for you that, I'm sure that there's been a bunch of things to sort of deal with. And you can never, predict every little twist and turn of a campaign like this because there's so many factors. What was the thing that was the biggest surprise to you up to this point?
Everyone I've ever talked to that's run a crowdfunding campaign says that it consumes like everything for the period of time when it's up. I underestimated how true that was. Like, not that I doubted it, but it is literally you just eat, sleep, and breathe this campaign. That's all you do. It's like, I feel like every waking moment I'm involved in this campaign in some way. And it's not just me, everyone at the studio, like how much this has had to like swerve ourselves. We're so fortunate now that we have Eric's brother, Brad, working full time at the studio. Because in the past, we would send Trevor all the product photos. He would take everything. But then during the course of a pre-order or something like that, there's always things that pop up. There's always questions that you're like, oh, we should have shown that. And it's not feasible we can't be responsive if we have to pack up the product, ship it to Trevor, get him to shoot it. It just doesn't work that way. We need to be a little more responsive. So in the past, it was always like me taking cell phone photos, Joe taking cell phone photos. So having like Brad able to quickly take some decent shots some good shots, amazing shots has been really a benefit to us here. But it's also added to just the collateral chaos going on at the studio at all times. When we say, hey, we've got to get this done, we've got to take pictures of it, that requires Joe to be prepping everything and working with Brad. So inevitably there's 2 or 3 members of the studio that are engaged with doing that one thing to bring those photos to everybody. So yeah, that's to me been the most surprising thing, probably, is just how much it definitely consumes everything you're doing.
Yeah. Curtis hopping in with the super chat. Thank you, Curtis. Consistent super chatter. Wants to say thank you for all you do, Jeremy, and love you guys. We love you too, Curtis. Obviously, we'll talk about that a little bit later too. Curtis, a big part of that. The huge telethon going on starting tonight, 9 o'clock with Purple Gang and running through the balance of the campaign tomorrow. Jeremy, you're going to be popping in and out of that, right?
Yeah, I am. I'd love to say that I'm going to be on every single one, but I don't know if I'm going to make it onto the the 3 a.m. shows. I mean, that one's actually more likely. The 3 a.m. show for me is probably more likely than the 11 p.m. show.
3 a.m. for you is getting up early.
That's just getting up a little bit early. That means if I'm up at 3 a.m., it usually means I'm getting ready to fly to Toylanta.
So everybody, this is my niece Archer. Say hey, hi Archie. Say hi, sweetie.
To the people.
Hey, Archer.
They can see you. Archie's just here to see her. I make birthday videos for all the kids, so she's just here. She wants to watch her video again, right?
Nice.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, sweetie.
Uncle John.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's got to be crazy. So you mentioned, when people are asking, from the beginning of the campaign, people are like, oh, can you extend it? Can you extend it? And the whole time it was very upfront, like, this is going to be it. And then in one of your posts, you even mentioned that, hey, it's not, just so you know, just again, it's not going to be extended. And there's reasons for that, because we do have a rest of the year to sort of to figure out, and other stuff coming down the road. And that would affect sort of everything. I know you can't really talk about specifics, but has anything else, for the rest of the year had to been sort of juggled as a result of how the campaign went?
we've juggled things, but not because of the campaign.
Mhm.
Like, we're always fairly fluid in what we're doing anyway. Like, there's a couple things that are set in stone, and then there's other stuff that we've got a little bit more leeway with. So we've moved some things around, but not because of the campaign. But you're right. I mean, when I was at Toylanta last weekend, I was doing an interview, and the interviewer said, so I'm hearing a lot of people saying that the campaign's going to be extended. And I was like, whoa, none of us have said that. Like, officially, that has not been said. In fact, we've said it's not going to be extended. And in this age of what's going on, where internet, anybody gets up there and they have a voice and they can speak very authoritatively, it always worries me that some people are, not like waiting to buy it. And they're like, oh, I heard on, this one channel that it's going to be extended, so I'm going to wait till next week instead. And then they miss it. And they're like, you guys told me it would be extended. No, we didn't tell you that. Some YouTuber told you that and you believed it. So that's why I've been in like every post I've been trying to do to let people know that, like, this is the end. Like, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, they're going to end it and create some FOMO and then they're going to start it up again. No, we're not. Like, we're not doing that. This is the end of the sale. So if you miss out tonight, you're not going to get this unless you get it on the secondary market, which means you're going to pay a hefty premium because whoever is selling it to you, they paid what you would have paid today.
And just to be clear, tomorrow night.
Right.
Not
tomorrow night.
Tonight ends tomorrow night. Yeah.
Tomorrow night. I definitively was very strong about trying to state that, and then I screwed up the most crucial piece of information.
As a matter of fact, we're moving it up. We're moving it up.
Hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Order it
We're
now.
giving you less time. It's ending now. 5 minutes. Go.
Tomorrow. It will not be extended beyond the time that we set from the beginning. Sunday, April 6th, 11 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point because not everybody is, this campaign goes far beyond the core community that's really plugged in and sees a lot of those posts and comments on a lot of those posts. Yeah. So it's important to sort of make sure people know exactly what's going on. There's so much that I saw during the campaign and you feel like a need to like go and like correct it sometimes, like the biggest thing to me was, $1,000 for a dragon, $1,000 for a dragon, $1,000.
Yeah, I know. That was making me crazy.
Like, well, the dragon's not $1,000. The dragon, wings, everything, $550 plus tax and shipping. So, yeah. Brick is wondering if you can name names. Just kidding. You don't have to name names. Guys, any other questions for sort of how things are going? No.
I'll bring up something because I alluded to it earlier. Looking at the numbers of those add-on sets, those have sold way better than we expected. The fact that literally they're both over 2,000 units, which is double what the minimums were, that's absolutely incredible. And Bill, I know you responded to the same post that I did where someone was saying like, hey, these have exceeded their totals, their minimums so much. Are they going to add more stuff to it? Are they going to use some of those sales to push up, what's required on the Bayathere Dragon and everything? And, I wanted, again, to be very clear and dispel any rumors and let people know that, no, we aren't adding anything to those now that they've this much exceeded their thresholds. And it's so tough because we as a studio are so transparent and so giving and everything. We really try to do right by the fans, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we're running a business here. Like, there needs to be a financial windfall at the end here so we can keep doing this. The simple reality, and some people don't believe this and that's their right, if we would have hit the minimum funding goals and just that, we would have essentially broken even. Now, That doesn't take into account the 6+ months that Eric sculpted this dragon, the 1+ month that Sherry, painted it, the dial work, obviously all this marketing work, like everything that we do in-house, because we don't have to pay those as outside expenses. We don't really account for that stuff. Trevor's photography, we don't count for that stuff in the cost of producing these products, but they certainly cost our company money. Had we just broken even, yeah, we would have produced the dragon and the add-on sets, but we probably wouldn't do something like this again. We would have been like, okay, we realize now that there's a limit to what the community is going to support at this time, at least. So the fact that it has exceeded as much as it is, the reality is the numbers that we're getting towards right now are probably what the minimum funding goals should have been. Like, this is what another company that wouldn't have been content to just break even, this is probably around the numbers where they would have been, if not a little bit more. So while I can see why people would think, because we are so giving, that now that we've doubled our minimum numbers, that we're going to throw some extra stuff in. The reality is those extra numbers really make this project a success for us, and it makes large scale projects like this in the future that much more viable.
Yeah, and to be fair, you guys have thrown something in on the main dragon offering. You did throw something in that wasn't going to be there before the Thea's Fury figure.
Okay, but what's going to be the 5,000 stretch goal? Because we're going to hit that.
What's going to be the 20,000 stretch goal?
If we get to 20,000, maybe we will throw something in.
Jeremy will come to your house and help you set up the display when the dragon comes. We'll drive it to your house for 20,000.
Hand delivered.
Real quick, it's not something to me that I probably would have brought up anyway, but you guys did make a statement about it, earlier today, and there's been some questions about it. So I guess people have been asking about the whole tariff issue. From my point of view, nobody really knows what the heck's going on, or what the heck's gonna go on. But you guys put out a statement that to me seemed pretty straightforward, middle of the road here, kind of like, here's the deal, here's the way we're looking at it. So the statement is there for people to read. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I mean, it's unfortunate timing right now that we're right in the tail end of this, right when so much uncertainty is hitting with the tariff situation. This is such a moving target right now. We're trying to get our arms around what's going on. I know there's a lot going on in the toy industry. We just saw, Fresh Monkey Fiction cancel their Kickstarter in light of this and stuff. So, it's on the top of everyone's mind. And I saw a lot of people basically suggesting that when this ships, there's going to be the potential that we're going to hit them up with an additional bill. We view a pre-order as a contract. We don't want to consider breaking that contract. That's not something we're going to do. So we're not going to go to you after the fact and say, oh, because of tariffs, you have to give us this much more money. Now, if this is ready to ship and there's 54% tariffs, will we be able to eat that? Absolutely not. What will that mean? I have no idea. But right now, I know that this is, close to 2 years away. We're looking towards the end of 2026. No one has any idea what's going to happen with tariffs next week, much less that far from now. So we at least wanted to put out a statement that said we have no intentions of charging people extra for tariffs once this is produced and ready to ship.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where it's not just toys and toy companies.
Of course.
Nobody knows what's going to happen. So that's just kind of out there sort of in the future. Did want to bring this up. Joe Gonsalves says he's ready to go for the next Pillar campaign. I'm assuming that's coming soon, right?
Not for a while. Not for a while.
Nate Strong says, Joe, pump the brakes.
Right. I would imagine you would want this to be in hand before you start a new Dragon campaign. No?
Yeah, I really want people, because so many of the questions that people have had about the Dragon has to do with the posability and the size and how big can I get it? How small can I get it? And like, there's a lot, they're legitimate questions, but they're questions that we can't really answer with what we have on hand right now. We can't pull them through a Dorklear style articulation, video review. So we've been, internally very, very clear about like, we want to deliver this. We want to get this in people's hands so they can really experience it before we go back to this and consider reusing these parts to do another Dragon.
By the way, there is no Dorklear style articulation video that has yet to happen that is going to come even close to what I'm going to have to figure out how to do with this Dragon, because I'm going to have to be standing behind it. Like I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like it's going to have to be a completely different format.
Drones.
And I'm
Take it outside and
actually
use drones
again. Yeah. I'm actually going to totally redesign my review space for the Dragon.
That's awesome.
Another
Gonna need a bigger turntable
from Curtis Ackerman.
No turntable for Dragon.
Curtis says, so you get this huge Dragon, a fire breath effect, extra head and neck, an extra set of open wings, and a 4 to 5 figure freaking wave for $850 plus tax and shipping. That is an amazing deal, in my opinion.
Dude, I think so too.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we were saying when we started planning out the stretch goals. And this was even before Beathir's Fury, where we were looking at it. Because, look, I've been very clear since the beginning. We weren't comfortable like putting forward the price of this set when we realized that Beathir was going to be $550 and the add-ons going to be $150. Like, we weren't real thrilled about having to go to the community with that. We knew that's what it had to be. The numbers are the numbers. But when we really sat down and looked at what we were offering, we said exactly what Curtis just did. We were like, yeah, okay, this is undeniably expensive, but look at what you're getting out of this. If you focus less on the price and more on what you're getting for the price, I think some of that initial sticker shock comes off and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. And I heard that at Toylanta a lot last weekend, where people who saw it were like, oh, now I understand why it's priced the way it is. That thing is massive. That thing is painted from, the tip of its snout to the tip of his tail. And look at all those figures. Those are super, super cool. So the value certainly is there if you are going to get that entire package. I mean, hell though, even if you're only getting Beathir, $550 for Beathir with Sir Benegar, the Ashen Skeleton, and hopefully Beathir's Fury, to me, that's a value as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's sort of what we're looking at here. Jeremy, you posted this,
yeah.
I think yesterday or today,
yeah.
About, listen, if you get all of the packages, here's what you're going to get as far as figures go. You're going to get the Dragon and a full 5-figure wave. If we hit 4,000 and we add Fury in there, that's kind of an incredible deal, actually, once you sort of add everything into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think it's, I mean, if that was a 5-figure wave right there, I mean, it'd probably be about $200. I mean, that Benegar is an expensive figure with all those soft goods and everything. That's definitely an expensive figure, probably under 200, because some of them are, they've got more paint, Legion Buildery type paint apps, which was necessary for this. I've talked before about the way we handled stretch goals, where when we sell more units and we get a little bit of a price break on unit costs, rather than making more money on the individual packages, the individual figures, we were like, okay, let's add something into that package that's essentially equivalent to the price break we just got. We'll bring our unit cost right back to where it was, but we'll sell more units, we'll add more value. So if we would have if every figure was like Sir Benegar, those stretch goal unlocks would have been a lot further apart. To be able to do them at these smaller increments, that's why we did stuff like the upgrade sets. That's why we did stuff that had minimal amount of paint apps.
And, one thing I've said before, and I think a lot of other people have said it too, is that over the last couple of years, Legion's figures, as they've sort of evolved and have gotten even better and added more stuff in, and we got, the CJSM soft goods and things like that. I very much compared like what you're getting in the box to a Mezco, to when you're talking about accessories, quality of the figure, soft goods and all that. And I put Benegar, to me, is on that par. Completely on par. And that's, you're talking about $100 figure right there by itself, if anybody else was selling it. So, I mean, the value there, and we've had conversations about, how much statues go for, the previous HasLabs and the difference between them. And even the campaign itself takes into account that, we're, a smaller community, the property is not a Star Wars as popular as it is. And we're still kind of blowing through it right now. So I'm kind of blown away. I'm pretty excited about it.
Very excited. Yeah. I mean, that Benegar, if you look at like a Mezco Doom, a figure that has soft goods and armor and stuff like that, I mean, it feels very comparable to what you got with a Mezco Doom. I think, didn't Mezco Doom come with like a really big, like accessory type item?
Yeah.
He doesn't come with that. Yeah. But with the exception of that, I think that'd be a fair comparison.
You could compare it to the Conan figures too, because they have sort of, like they're not fully clothed top to bottom kind of thing, but they do have cloth goods. And
and it's equivalent because while Benegar's got armor and Conan's got the bare flesh and everything, it's very similar in terms of the production of it.
Yeah.
I should also pop this in real quick right now. One thing that we've been doing this month, in addition to talking about the dragon, talking about the reveals and things like that, is we've been trying to get people to make it a little bit easier for people to buy the dragon, let's say, by giving away $25 Store Horsemen gift cards to purchasers of the dragon or an accessory set. The idea is that, sort of honor code, you're on your honor to use the $25 gift code to defray the cost of the dragon. We're going to do that one more time today. So a lucky viewer will get a $25 gift card. Hashtag last call. Hashtag last call is what you want to put into the chat to have your chance at a $25 gift card that you will win at the end of the show.
Nice.
So, Jeremy, I don't know how much time you have, but if you've got a little bit more time, one new development that you've had a chance, obviously, to talk about already a couple of times is the Baethyr's Fury figure that you first sort of announced at MuskyCon a couple of weeks ago. And then on your live stream on Wednesday, we got the very first shot, sort of like a Bigfoot shot in the wild.
A great quality photo that we shared during that show.
There's a Zapruder film of product shots right there.
Trevor, were you watching?
Yeah. I was watching. I was kind of like, "Oh God, don't do this! Don't do it."
A little piece of Trevor died.
Well, I was also on DM with Joe. Like, I'm like, "Come on, show it to me." He's like, it's not ready yet." I'm like, "I'm just saying, want to see what it looks like." She showed it to me. That's all right.
Yeah.
Look, listen, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and it gave people something to bitch about for a day, which is what they love to do anyway. So there you go.
That's true. What the hell, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so tough. Eric was saying this that next morning, where he said people always ask for a sneak reveal, and then complain that it's not done when you reveal it to them.
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
That's why it's a sneak peek.
That's why it's a sneak peek. But yeah, I mean, the photo that we shared on my live stream was certainly not the best quality, did not accurately show the figure. It's actually why we showed the Elf Legion builder first, to show people like, hey, if you know what this figure looks like, if you have this figure in your collection, this figure is paint matched to that figure. So even if the next photo I show you is horrible, which it was, you should get a sense of what it looks like. That didn't work. But we were able to recover. Brad was able to take some photos the next day. and we were able to fully reveal the Hail Mary that is the Beathir's Fury.
I agree with Curtis's statement here. He says, might not have been the best photo, but I appreciate the Four Horsemen is the type of company that is as excited as us and wants to share in the excitement. I agree. I think that is super cool that, that somebody that works for the studio is doing a live stream talking about this stuff directly to the fans and can be goaded into, take notes, guys.
Doesn't take much.
Be goaded into giving us a sneak peek.
And I should note, I just called it a Hail Mary. That's just me being overtired and punchy and using a phrase that somebody in the cabal called it. So I should watch myself a little bit. That was not cool. It was definitely not a Hail Mary. It was well planned.
Yeah. And here's some of the. Yeah, well, I mean, I hesitated for a second. I was like, "Well, what was even wrong with that?" Whatever. The people like Trevor said, people just listen. Yeah. People love to complain about stuff, even though. And the thing that was making me mad I'm going to drop this after this on Thursday or whatever it was that when it was shared, it was kind of like, listen, this is a sneak peek or whatever. And then I think Bill and Billy Beige were posting it and saying that, listen, this is not a final picture. This is not a real picture of the thing. And people don't listen, but whatever. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Point is, then we got sorry, go ahead, Jim.
I mean, for the first 3 days, people didn't think the dragon came with a head or wings. So, people don't read.
It doesn't even.
I think people like self-sabotage. I think people like purposefully,
maybe
like they don't act like. I think a lot of people like sort of don't actually believe some of the things they're saying, but they're just kind of like doing it in like a sabotage kind of way.
There's a lot of trolls. Yeah, just a troll thing. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I will say that. Look, I saw some people that really wanted a female dragon rider. Well, this is about as far from a female dragon rider as you're going to get. So I totally understand the sentiment of, this isn't what I was hoping for. But it goes back to something I've said multiple times where I think too often we judge things based on what they're not versus what they are. Like, I wanted X, and because you gave me Y, that's not cool. I'm upset. I don't want it. And, I've never understood that. There's certainly things I want out of the toy collections that I have, but I try to be mindful of judging what a company gives me based on what that actually is, not what I was hoping for. And once we were able to show the better photos of the Fury, it's funny that the sentiment changed very quickly from I don't like the Mustard Knight to why can't I army build this figure because it's awesome.
Or it started off with the color, right? I don't like this color. And then when it was fully revealed, people shifted to I don't want it to be a knight. It's like the moving goalposts is problematic in that situation.
Super chat, $1.99 super chat from Kevin M.
Hell yeah.
Happy birthday,
Boots!
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
dude.
Oil. Happy
Birthday, Patrick.
My good friend and yours, an awesome dude and an awesome artist. Also, real quick, before we move ahead with it, people out there, don't underestimate the power of headcanon. Those are faceplates, baby. I don't know what's inside that armored suit, brother. That might be a female. I have no idea. That could be a female if you want it to be. But here we go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. Like armor really, I mean, I know we have female armor with, female looking pieces, but that's not really what you'd wear if you were necessarily a female wearing armor. So
maybe not. You never know. But point being, on Friday, we got these photos, Jeremy, and I think they look really, really cool. Here's the full loadout of Beathir's Fury, right? So you got the spear there, sword, sheath, the set of horns, the bat wings, 3 different face plates, the chainmail head, an additional neck peg, the shield. You have the little emblem for the shield or the dragon face and the Beathir's Fury itself. Can you just talk to us a little bit about sort of how this sort of came together? Is there anything cool you can tell us about the different pieces that went into it? For example, those are, right? Correct me if I'm wrong here. I hope I'm not wrong. Those are the exclusive pauldrons, right?
Yeah. So we had talked early on that, like, we were planning out the different figures that we were going to include, including another figure, to contrast Benegar, to act as like one of the soldiers that he commands. That was something that was in the early discussions, and it ended up getting scrapped just because we were putting too much in. So when we shifted everything and we had a slot open, that was an easy one to revisit and say, okay, let's do that. And we had never really planned out what the pieces were going to be. So we started looking and saying, like, okay, what makes sense? What can we use here? Because we said we were going to retire the pauldrons after this campaign, it was an easy decision to say, well, let's put those in because it'll be cool to give the fans another shot at those. There was a temptation to put Benegar's head on it, but then we were like, nope, we don't just want to do a gold Benegar. This is going to get too similar. So we didn't use that head, which means it will genuinely be unique to Sir Benegar. We did include the Benegar horns. We did include the shield, neither of which we said we'll never use again. Those both can be used again. So we included them here so they would at least get used a second time. But then what we wanted to do was just throw in something different and unexpected. And I loved the idea of painting those faceplates, which those are the Elijah, Enoch, and Benegar faceplates. They're not meant to be those characters. Like, we wrote the lore that the Beathir's Fury, under their helmets, they basically wear these silver masks that are the faces of their fellow soldiers who have fallen during their duty to Beathir. And through that, they believe that they call them the faces of the remembered. They believe that even in death, these fallen soldiers can still serve the Pillar of the West. So if you imagine a mold of somebody's face back during these type of times, they're not going to be perfect mold. So they're not meant to be those characters. The very business reality of making toys means we had to reuse them, but that's not the intention from a lore standpoint.
It's also a nice heat shield. Fire and all that.
Yeah, when you're
Sure.
hanging out with the dragon.
I'm sure it would be very warm to be wearing a metal mask underneath a helmet, but it's fantasy. We can say that works. But I think this photo too, like when I saw these photos from Brad that had the contrast between Beathir's Fury and Benegar, and I said this in one of the interviews I did, I said, when you see it in context, I think you're really going to appreciate it. Bill, I think I said that on Thursday night with you, where seeing these two together, I think that they make a very cool pair. And then I also posted on Friday that I know people are asking to army build the Fury. While we're not going to have an option in the campaign for you to add multiples, there's a very specific reason for that. But I will say, we know people want to army build the Fury, and we have a plan for it. While it would be cool to give people the ability to buy multiples during this campaign, I think the idea that we have instead is even cooler. So we just ask people, wait for it, back Beathir, get your first Fury. That's step number one. We'll take care of you down the road. We got a cool plan.
Yeah, a couple of, basically very much related questions here at Where to Go.
Mm-hmm.
Brick Something asks, will the colorway on the two shields be unique to this campaign?
No, because if we ever want to come back and do something with Beathir's Fury, we're going to want to use that color. So I wouldn't say that the colorways will be unique. Again, we said that we won't use Benegar's helmet. We're not going to use those pauldrons. We're not going to re-release Benegar or this version of Beathir's Fury. So those are all definite. Those are all locked in, but we're not going to say that we won't use this color again. I mean, that's to answer that definitively would be probably a little too telling, but and if you read between the lines, the fact that I'm saying we've got a plan for the future, I mean, we know people want to army build this character. We want to give them a way to do that at some point, but we're not re-releasing this character. So read into that what you will.
You're muted, bud.
Me?
No,
No.
Jonathan.
Oh,
Jonathan.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I was just saying that. Are we still working on brick something here? As far as the dragon? Yep. Just use some of the school funding, bring it in. You can teach a whole class just about this dragon. It'll be so valuable.
He posted somewhere that I think
I thought he was in.
masks were the thing that was like putting him over the edge.
I know. That's what he just said.
He wants
Okay.
to for sure. I know.
All right, Brick, I'm sending you an invite to come on the show tomorrow night. My last ditch effort, man.
Was there anything I wanted to ask about just the Fury specifically? Oh, I hadn't really looked at this, checked out this look before. Well, with the horns is pretty cool. Different look than I was thinking of here.
yeah. And again, the wings were the original look that we had planned, but then just looking at the new parts that were sculpted for Benegar and saying, okay, what do we, is there anything else we want to include, just because it will be another chance to get those into backers' hands, throwing in the horns. It was, we've said this story so many times, but it was once again, Eric, which ones should we include? Let's paint them both and see. And we all just knew that meant we're going to put them both in.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, I like the way you think too. The thing is now I really want this figure. Now I really want this figure, and we've got to get this bad boy to 4,000 guys. So,
I think we're in good shape. So, I mean, I will say this. I don't know what this campaign's going to shape up like tomorrow. But if I look at the percentage of our final number that we get on the final day, if that just maintains, it would get us to 4,000.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's going to maintain. If a lot of people backed it earlier and help push us to where we are, then maybe we're going to see a little bit less in that final day and in those final hours than we typically do. But if we see our typical kind of last minute Sunday, everyone coming in and backing push, I think we will get to that. Just again, math problem. With that percentage, we would hit 4,000.
Okay. What's your plan for now for the last 36 hours or whatever it's going to be as far as the numbers on the updates? Do you have a plan in mind on I'm at least going to give updates every?
So I'm in my new house right now. And once I get off with you, I've got to go get to a bunch of projects that are on my honey to-do list, because I need to finish the honey to-do list today. So tomorrow I'm down here all day. Like a lot of stuff is up, but I've got a couple more bookcases I've got to build and a bunch of boxes of stuff I haven't put out yet. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing that, and minimally every single hour I'm going to be refreshing the numbers, and I'm going to be updating all throughout the day. So I won't be posting the updates on our Four Horsemen Instagram and everything, because that would literally be way too many posts for one day. But I will be posting the website every single hour. And if you look at what I did when I came on live today and I said, okay, I'm going to post it live now, I actually put a timestamp on it where it says 3:30 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to timestamp every update tomorrow so you know what it is. I'm going to jump on a bunch of the live streams and talk like I'm talking here and share things. So probably starting tonight before I go to bed, I'll start doing that. And then I'm going to get a few hours of sleep, and then I'll be up early tomorrow and just muscle through.
It's sort of a random question. Well, not random, obviously, but I know that tomorrow you might be popping in to some of the regular community shows during the telethon that's going on.
Mhm.
But for this weekend, you popped into a couple of shows that are a little bit outside of the toy community. Like you were on Wade's show on Parallel Universe. I saw that. That was really great. And then you were on the Toy Anxiety show. Anything you can share about kind of mixing in with some of these communities that are related, maybe, but a little bit outside of the Legions community?
I mean, I always love doing that. I've been on Toy Anxiety before, and it was actually a really good conversation. They had me on over a year ago after we revealed Bodvar. Bodvar he was one of the first figures I think we did that really broke outside of our little circle of Legionnaires, because people were like, oh, wow, that's a gigantic, 1/12 scale bear. That's super awesome. And that was one of the things that they were really focused on. And they were talking about it on their show, and they're not super knowledgeable about Legions. So a number of people were like, hey, you should reach out to them and go on their show, which I did, and it was a wonderful conversation. So I tried to connect with them for this Dragon campaign, and maybe I had the wrong email or something, but I saw Craig down at Toylanta, and he was the one that was like, hey, I totally love to have you on, and Tuesday worked out and everything. So yeah, that was really enjoyable. Wade, same thing. I'd never been on Wade's show. I met Wade for the first time at Legions Con. Again, another wonderful conversation just to talk to him. I like those outside perspectives because, people sometimes argue that we live in a bit of an echo chamber here in, Mythos where no one wants to criticize. I don't find that to be true. I find there to be plenty of criticism, but a lot of times it's constructive criticism. And, I've said time and time again, I would put this community against any community out there. But it is nice to get outside of it a little bit and get an outside perspective on what we're doing. And I get to do that at shows a lot. Like at Toylanta, I got to meet and talk to a lot of people that weren't really familiar. And that's always an absolute joy for me. So doing it on the shows is just an extension of that.
Yeah, and I think that cross-pollination really works. I mean, Cosmic Jeff right here, Jeffrey Evans says
that's amazing
about Bodvar from that appearance. So,
that's crazy.
That's
crazy to have.
There was a lot of. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
It's crazy to have someone like Jeff who he's so involved in, especially the cosmic community now, that it almost feels like he's been here forever doing that. Yep. So the fact that he's like, yeah, that was my first exposure to this. And I'm like, dude, that's like just over a year ago. Are you serious? It's crazy how people come into this community and just immediately feel welcomed and make an impact.
Cloud says, yeah, my deleted comment post history says they love to argue in our community. We had a question here. Mastodante, Jeremy, is it fair to assume we will get other Beathir adjacent figures and regular waves in the future, or will Beathir adjacent figures be limited to the campaign? So I'm assuming regular human characters that are dragon related.
Yeah, I mean, Beathir is part of our next story arc. So absolutely, we're going to see more. I mean, this isn't the only time we're going to see characters that are in the order of Beathir. We will absolutely see them as the story progresses. So very, very fair to say.
That was one thing that I really enjoyed about your time on Bill's show on Thursday was that you guys did get into the lore, probably more than I've heard recently. And sort of the biggest takeaway that I had was that Beathir is sort of part of the next story arc.
Yeah, for sure.
And you talked about a little bit about that on Thursday, but can you just give us a little bit of a context for whatever you can tell us about? So does it revolve around him, or is it just
no? He's not. So Beathir and dragons, they're not the big bad. Like, it's not like, oh, you've defeated the Dark Four, now you fight dragons. Like, it's not, a video game where you're leveling up to dragons as the next big thing. We actually wanted to avoid that intentionally, because We knew dragons were going to be part of this next arc. And immediately when Eric and I started talking about ideas, we were both on the same page. We were like, they're not the major antagonist. Like, they are not what our heroes have to fight, because that just felt way too pedestrian. So we wanted to introduce them in a much more nuanced way. But when I was talking with Bill the other night, Bill was giving me kind of his timeline breakdown, and he got some stuff really, really good. And there's other stuff that he was mistaken on. And one of the things he was mistaken on was he had Beathir's arrival, where he's flying over the castle of Four Sides, being during the Second Great War, almost like the emergence of Beathir was going to help one of these two sides, as a tipping point in that war. And I said, no, Beathir, all of this second arc, this is in the future a bit. So Ashes of Agbendor, when Shui is in the ashes, that's after the Second Great War. That's before the emergence of Beathir. So that little snippet that we read during Legion's Con, which I believe is on Source Horsemen now, about there being an earthquake and Beathir flying over the, I refer to it as a golden tower emblazoned with like the, visages of great beasts. It's the Tower of Four Sides. Anybody that knows our story read that, it was like, ooh, that's Tower of Four Sides. That is in the future. Our second arc is in the future.
Bill, did you have any takeaways of that? Because I know you're a huge lore guy, and this was sort of, this conversation came out of some of your thoughts on it.
You talked about the wizards of Basilia and not Basilia, of Paxis, right? And them having the like time magic or whatever that is part of how of Basilia, and that's how Paxis was sort of banished or whatever, and like Paxis coming. So that whole thing about like time magic is probably the biggest like, oh wow, that's interesting kind of reveal from that combo.
Yeah, we wanted, because a big part of the story is the fact that the Dark Four in that First Great War really never mobilized in full strength. That Paxis and his armies were taken off the game board very, very quickly. So we wanted to like find a way to say like, okay, the Wizards of Basilia, they basically came up with this elaborate trap, but everything was happening so fast. They wouldn't have had the time needed to study and plan and do all of this. So by creating these time magic, these time loops where they could basically test things out and keep testing, and they could figure out how to launch the trap and then get them to that point and launch the trap, it kind of gave us the ability to, magic's like, it can do anything. So it's kind of like an easy out with all of these types of stories where you can just write in, well, magic did it. But I at least wanted there to be some kind of logic for how they were able to accomplish that, and being able to create those time loops made a lot of sense. One of my absolute all-time favorite television shows is a show called The Magicians. Mm-hmm. And they do a ton with time loops and time magic in that story. So that very much inspired, like when I was thinking about how am I going to solve this problem, I was very much inspired by like, ooh, I remember that was really cool. Let me take that general idea and morph it to what we need to do here.
So Brick has a question here. Can you say if Beathir and the Pillars are aware of Selene and Helios, or vice versa?
I'm not going to answer that one.
Okay. But he does love the Magicians too.
He also didn't respond to the part of my story where I described these continents with this vast ocean in the middle. So when before the dragons slumbered, in my interpretation or fanfic or whatever you want to call it of this, you have these continents, right? And then like on the map, there's Mythos in the middle. But I imagine that Mythos did not even exist there, and that before the dragon slumbered, this was just a vast ocean in the middle. And then when they awaken, this is there. This Mythos Island is there. And that coincides with the arrival of Helios and Selene, as if they weren't even on Mythos. Because I feel like I remember something about them coming from the universe, but that might be like old lore. But I get this vibe of like, when I was kind of like putting that together, I was sort of making it as if it was like a cosmogony, like the creation of the universe kind of thing. But
well,
obviously you may not be able to speak to that, but I just thought I'd share that with people.
Well, I did say that some of the stuff you theorized was like very, very close. That's one of the ones.
Okay.
You've got some really good stuff in there. Some stuff that's very, very close. It's not exactly right, but you've got a lot of the main elements.
I got to go in and revise it now that I know the later timeline there too.
Curtis is cutting out for a power nap before he starts his telethon tonight. Another super chat. Thank you, Curtis. He says, I wish I could stay, but I need an adult nap. Take a kid nap too if you need it before tonight. Before I go,
kidnap.
I heard he started fasting 2 days ago, and he's going to stop drinking water today.
That's right.
So who is he? The Cory Booker of Bay?
Exactly.
Over here. But he
Guys,
says
I'm a bail
filibuster
too.
the dragon.
Here. I'll put this. I'll put that back up in a second. Let me just put us. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. Man. I know you've got a big rest of the weekend. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for all your work on this project.
Thanks, guys.
I'm excited about it. Good luck, man. We'll see you on the other side.
Dude,
in a while.
See you all soon.
Bye, Jeremy.
Later. See you, man.
There we go. So Curtis says, before I go, though, it will be a telethon with a number to call in. See you all soon. So Jerry Lewis style. And yeah, so Curtis, anybody that's wants to check in, there's going to be essentially nonstop content regarding the dragon this weekend. You've got our show here. Then later tonight, starting at 9:00, you got the Purple Gang. And basically from that point right through the end of the campaign, there's going to be all kinds of YouTube shows talking about a bunch of different topics with a bunch of people from the community. There'll probably be a bunch of people ordering their dragon online. And as a matter of fact, Bill and Trevor, you're going to be on for closing, right? Bayathir's Peak, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. simulcast.
Yep.
I will be.
You're going to be a little late, right?
Early? Well, no,
okay.
I'm gonna be on it at 7, and then I'm gonna cut out at 9 to watch the finale of White Lotus.
Oh, that's right.
And I may be back on. I heard it's an hour and a half though, so I don't know, like 9 to 10:30. Like I may be back on from like 10:30 to 11. It all depends on how quickly I can get started with that show at 9. Because my wife. And I too, like what's funny is I didn't even watch the first 2 seasons. I just hopped in on the last season, like because my wife watched those without me, and I just hopped in on it, and I'm like loving it so much. They're all separate stories, but
the second season is the best.
I gotta go back and watch them, but I also want to watch Severance, which we started last night, so I got a lot of TV to watch.
Too. Yes,
I want to check out White Lotus. I want to check it out. I think that's a show that I might be able to get Victoria to watch with me, which I'm kind of pumped about. I did watch the first season of Severance. I wasn't into it for a lot of it. And then the last chunk of it, I really got into it. And then it ended. And I haven't watched the second season yet. But there's one thing about the beginning of season 2 that I know that kind of pissed me off a little bit and made me not want to watch it. But we'll see. I might go back to it at some point.
So I just want to say before you take this down, we're going to have, I got a dragon trivia game that we're going to do kind of early on. And Big Dub won our $25 gift certificate last week on Legion's Lounge, and he gave it right back. So put it back in the pool. So it's going to be a $50 gift certificate.
Nice.
Probably early, like I said, we'll try and do it early on, like 7:30 or something like that. So anybody who wins it has a chance to, hopefully spend it on something. Brick. It's not fixed though. But if I can make Brick win it, yeah,
that's a huge discount, dude.
Study Dragons, Brick. That's all I'm saying.
10% discount.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna miss the last chunk of the Dragon hype because I'm going with my buddy to see AEW Dynasty live in Philadelphia tomorrow night. I'm very excited about that.
Nice.
But I'll probably be checking in on my phone, and we might be leaving pretty much a little bit before this whole thing ends. So I'll probably be on my phone in the car as a passenger, not as a driver. So that's pretty cool. A lot of cool stuff going on here. Oz from 11 p.m. tonight to 3 a.m. He and whoever's going to be joining him in the clubhouse will be talking about dragons and other media. And then
that's the partiers hours. That's like partiers. They're going to be, like that. Those are the hours where you're raging.
Yeah. Well, and that crew, like,
it's usually raving on the clubhouse.
Like Oz will be live streaming till like 6 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah, that's insane.
Have you been in there, Ryan, before?
I have not.
No.
I don't think I can hang with that crew.
No, I've been trying to train myself to stay up a little bit later the last couple of days because I know tomorrow night Dynasty is going to it'll probably go till 11 or something like that anyway, which is late for me. I'm usually asleep by 10:30. Well, we'll see. For example, Let's Go Off-World is 3 to 7 a.m. I'm usually up by 5:30, 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get up early and catch some of the end of that.
Yeah, me too.
And then I'm gonna be on New to Mythics, so I will be ready to go at 7.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna be on with Schmerber and whoever else is gonna be on New to
Trevor,
Mythics?
you're on that too?
Yep, I'm on that too. Yeah.
Are you guys? So you guys are gonna be on a lot of these too, huh? I was gonna say gonna be losing some
clubhouse
sleep
for a while. I don't think I'm gonna be there till 3 a.m. But I mean, it'll probably be 1 a.m. at least, and then I'll try and catch a little bit at the end of Let's Go Off-World and New Mythics, yeah, and then sleep in the afternoon apparently.
I also would imagine the Sunday night thing wouldn't end right at 11 because the campaign ends at 11. So like it's
we're not
just
going to say goodbye.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be totally wired at that point. They're gonna be all pumped up.
Jazzed,
everybody's going to be all jacked up. As we cross the $5,000 threshold, people are going to be really pumped up for that.
The 5,000 units, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey man, like
we better have a 5,000.
It could go nuts.
That's all I'm saying.
It could go nuts. There's no way to know how Sunday's going to go. It could go crazy.
So that's a question that I had was this whole time, myself included, we sort of assumed that there would be a big boom at the end of the crowdfund because there usually is a big boom as far as crowdfunds go. Anyway, there's FOMO, there's all that stuff. Plus you add on top of it the fact that, even then you add on top of it the fact that the money gets pulled when you back the project. So a lot of people, this was, again, like I've said before, this was initially my plan to wait till the end of the campaign period back then. Now I didn't end up doing that, but I think a lot of people probably still did. But then, during the program, I started thinking about it more, and I was like, during the crowdfund period, I was like, a lot of the people, like a lot of the core audience probably back near the beginning because of, you wanted to be a part of it and you wanted to get the hype going and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't know, maybe the bump at the end won't be as big. And now I don't know, I hope it's huge. I think there's going to be a bump. The question is, how big is it going to get? What do you guys think?
The reality tomorrow for people who weren't planning to buy this is going to set in and they're going to be like, this is it. Yep. Like, this is now or never. That I can get this. And you're going to see a lot of people
at a decent price. Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of people just like hopping on that were sort of maybe not planning on it or whatever, especially if they see it like approaching that 4K, and it's just how much it comes with and how much you could part out to Like you could sell those 3 figures and probably
Yep.
get $300.
Yep.
And then your dragon's $250.
I still think if we push this, this marathon thing, there's something going on all day. Like Jeremy said, he's not updating on Instagram and stuff. So if people have, when he posts on the Cabal or on Facebook, Store Horsemen or something, put it up on your, on your feed on Instagram and let people know that it's, what's happening in the counts and stuff like that. I'm going to be trying to do that on my stories and stuff throughout the day. And I still think there's going to be people tuning in that are like, again, not maybe fully on board or fully informed as to the, I keep saying in every show I'm on, like the fact that you can sell those figures for a good amount. And if we do end up unlocking the Fury early-ish tomorrow, I'm thinking, maybe 5 o'clock or something like that, or maybe who knows when we come on, or maybe earlier. I mean, the way it's going, I think it could be fairly early in the afternoon tomorrow. I don't know. But if we hit that and then you're getting 3 figures, I think there's going to be a flood of people that who maybe were on the fence about it, thinking, oh man, I could take these 3 figures and sell that for more than 2/3 of the price of the dragon almost. You know what I mean? So, I'll get the dragon for $200 or $250 or whatever. So I think there's going to be a lot of people doing that.
I really hope that, and I know the figure will be expensive, but I hope we see more. I mean, I know we're going to see more cloth goods from CJ for knights and stuff, but like I really want to see something very similar to this with sort of the pointy, the way it comes down kind of like pointy on Benegar's, like there's just like the shape of it is super cool. And I hope we see
scalloped like that. Yeah.
Even if it's a, something totally different color, like just totally different figure, character, storyline, whatever. But with that silhouette of the way the cloth goods come down on that.
Yeah.
Like the skirt, especially.
Yeah. It's all scalloped. It looks great. And again, like that was the CJ, edition too. That wasn't even something that was necessarily. I don't know if you're muted, John. I don't know if you're talking or not. Sorry, buddy. You keep switching things around.
No,
still there.
it's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Oh, John's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I start
talking and he leaves. All right, I see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was right in the face, so I've been trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a straight line across, and CJ suggested that, which I think is awesome. That it kind of mimics the, the wings of the dragon.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, the fire set and the wing set. I don't know. I think the fire set's going to do really, really. I mean, it's already doing really well, but I think that'll jump exponentially as well. But yeah, I don't think we're going to have any problem hitting 4,000, and I got a feeling it's going to be fairly early tomorrow. I don't think a lot of people are going to be waiting till the last minute, but I do think in those last few hours there's going to be quite a jump in whatever that
flurry.
Number is.
Yeah.
I also think this. You saw TSJ with his comment earlier that he's buying his 2nd and 3rd dragons tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I do think during this whole telethon thing, a lot of those people, even people that backed early, are going to be jumping back in.
I may be getting. I do have to get some other pieces, but I may get another one.
If I do, I'm just getting another Baethir. I'm not getting the wing. I'm not going to get a second set of wings and a second set of heads or like fire set. So, yeah, I'll buy. I'm leaning towards it now. At this point, I gotta decide.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Here we go.
I do have to think about, again, in terms of shipping, I'm come through all right? I'm not delayed or anything?
Yeah, you sound fine, Trevor.
Yeah, you're good.
Because I had a little skip earlier. But in terms of like getting this thing, I mean, I've been doing the free shipping, and I have thought about like maybe doing one of them and having it shipped, because while I think it's going to go really quick because they are all ready to go. These are like, do you want to put all your address
like
your stuff up there, man?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact,
It's brave.
Listen, you can Google my name and find my address, but yeah.
Well, that's true. But I do like like with the all-ins, like they go out, they come in a box, nobody has to pack anything, they just, they slap a label on them, they go out the door. And that's what this is going to be. I mean, it's going to be pretty much, this guy got a dragon, slap a label on it, goes out the door. This guy got a wing set, slap a label on it, goes out the door. So there's no bundling, there's no packing and stuff like that. So I think it's going to go pretty damn quick. And I think it's not even going to be.
Oh, now you're
you
frozen up.
Good, because I thought it was me.
No, he'll come back. I believe in him.
Let's try to predict.
There he is.
Okay, there he is.
Boom, there it is.
I'm talking and
So
I'm
you were saying, so I think it's going to be.
I think it's going to be akin to like one of like I don't know how many there are in like a normal wave order, let's say, like how many all-ins, you know what I mean? But I think it's going to be similar to that. So
yeah.
What I'm wondering about, is it going to be like a week? Is it going to be 2 weeks till we have this event? You know, they're going to have to plan this event. They have to say plan it, it's going to be this day, and they're going to have pretty much everything shipped by then. So I don't know if they're going to push that out a little longer, because like, well, we just give ourselves a little cushion. I don't want to wait that long, so I may have one shipped to my house and then pick up the rest or something like that. Not to mention, if I have 2 or 3 of them, I might need a trailer. I got a Jeep, but I'm not sure everything's going to fit in that thing. So I don't know.
So I just grabbed the Epic Wing set, so I'm in for everything, and a second Fiery Breath set, because I talked myself into it. Because I'm like, that way I get another Burning Night, and sell off the other accessories for whatever I can get to some other single dragon buyers. Probably don't have the same shipping problem with the dragon, and I get another Burning Night.
There you go.
And the whole local pickup thing for the dragon, that could end up being like a little mini Legions Con. Like if people are going to come in from out of town and like stay over, like get hotels and stuff like that.
Definitely will be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's something I got to contemplate for my second dragon. If I do that, am I going to ship it, or am I going to, make it a little like trip kind of thing? I guess it all depends on the timing of like, if it comes late 2026, I mean, there's a huge roll of the dice that it could potentially happen during
Legions Con.
But that's so slim, like of it just magically shipping out. I guess it would have to ship out like from the factory like September of 26, and then it would kind of work out perfectly or whatever. But I mean, just a trip down. I don't ever come down anymore except for Legions Con. Like in the past, I've come down for
Toy Con,
right? But like now that it's Legions Con once a year, it's kind of like my one trip. So it would be cool to do another trip in a calendar year down there.
It would be fun if like it could happen like right around that time, so that like for like Legions Week now, you like add another day to it, because part of the events is going to be the dragon pickup for local pickup.
Right.
But
yeah,
it would be awesome.
Monday dragon pickup or something.
But I mean, I'm not checking for the dragon delivery. You know what I mean? Anytime soon. Stuff happens. They're gonna want to get this thing right, something they've never made before. So if it's the end of 2026, if it's the beginning of the next year, I'm fine with it. I don't care.
I've always, like one of the things about when you get really into Legions and pre-orders, it's like there's always something coming up. Like we got All-Star 6 that's going to be coming soon, and then we're going to have some Cosmics. And it's like, okay, it sucks when you get into your first one and you got to wait that year and a half to 2 years. But once you're on that train and it's rolling in, like it doesn't, it's like it's a cadence, and it doesn't feel like some kind of big long wait. It's, I think it's just tough for the people who are like, okay, I'm going to just order this one thing. I'm going to pre-order the bear, right? And never buy another Mythic Legion again. And then you wait those 2 years or whatever.
Why is it taken? Yeah.
That's when it feels rough.
But like speaking to that, I'm, like a lot of people cutting down on toy purchases. I haven't bought a toy, put in a pre-order, nothing at all since ZoloCon. That was the beginning of March. And before that, it wasn't since the beginning of February. But I still got in my Necronominus order, which I paid for, 2 years ago, whatever it was. That came in already. My Armies of Ashmore dinosaurs are on the way already. I got figures coming from AS6. So this is like, I can literally spend 3 months not ordering toys. Yeah, Stavros
boy,
in my. I have a pile of loot I can ship that has Stavros. Like
I got that. I got all my reindeer for Christmas.
You know what's
just in case.
crazy?
there you go.
I paid for the
And-
I paid the extra for the priority shipping for Stavros, and it's
Yeah.
like mine's taking forever. Like it's still like
All this stuff is coming in now too.
Oh, you got the Cyberzoic dragon. Nice.
Yeah.
That thing is awesome.
I did just get this guy in.
Oh, killer.
I haven't opened it yet because it's such a pristine card, and I'm like, maybe I'll pick up another to open or something. But
See,
there's
coming
this
over to my
line.
way of thinking.
I
Oh,
mean,
you got
I've
the
always
count.
been like this with vintage collection, where it's like if I get one in and the card's perfect, I have a hard time opening it.
I still have. I was going to sell them, but nobody bought them, so I think I'm going to keep
Nice,
them.
Joe.
I have the animated NECA Dungeons and Dragons War Duke and the Elkhorn. And I think I'm going to open the Elkhorn tonight just to have something to open. But that War
Yeah.
Duke, man, I don't know if I can even open it. It looks so great on the card. And I
those
used to
are
have an
the,
on-card vintage
anniversary
War
ones?
Duke.
Yeah.
Sorry?
The anniversary ones you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The animated ones. Yeah. the
Yes, that's
cartoon
right.
color,
Yes. Yep.
Or the toy color. I mean, by the way, I can't. I don't want to show it yet because this is kind of a spoiler thing. But the most recent Toy Pizza Jesse DeStasio Knights of the Slice Patreon action figure of the month
Mhm.
just came in, and it's sweet. I haven't opened it yet because it's like an experience, and I haven't had time yet. It just came in right before I got on this, but that's in. And it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that thing's awesome. I was just looking at I got the one from February, and that thing was it's really cool. First time I looked at it was today, so that was pretty cool. See, everybody's doing the Glios thing now. Everybody's doing the Glios thing. Me too. This whole time I've been sitting here with this guy.
Yeah, being across from a Glios guy at Toylanta didn't help.
Terrence.
There is a drop right now. Actually, there's I don't know if you want to pull it up, but
Yeah, sure.
if you go to I believe it's on Cappy Space, but Angry Hedgehog.
There you go.
I believe for the US buyers it's on Cappy Space. CappySpace.com.
All right, here let's.
And it's like the Colossi, the
and-
Colossi of Chaos from Angry Hedgehog. Those just went up at 4:00 Eastern. Go to the store and then you'll see them.
the store. These guys.
All this stuff, yeah.
Cool.
If you remember, they had at Legion's Con, they had them in the construction, the yellows and blacks, the construction ones. Those are the same ones. So those basically those
robot-
top 3 rows.
Robot's pretty cool.
These
Yeah,
guys.
all those top 3 rows are all robots. Yeah.
Oh, these are like a Action Force related,
No.
because that color scheme and then the skull and the crossbones is like the evil guys from like back in the day Action Force. Like
Oh,
from-
maybe. Oh, yeah. Maybe they're
Okay.
tributes to that. Yeah, it could be. I'm not.
and it
familiar with
it was the Crimson not the Crimson Guard. It was something Crimson,
Crimson Shadow, or something like that.
something like that.
Somebody in the chat will know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize these were tributes to that. That's cool.
Yeah, unless it's an
Yeah, like
accident.
the
I don't
gold
think so. I think that's intentional, but that's cool.
Yeah.
But you can also get some of the look at this
Some
shark
of the
guy.
ones.
Yeah. When the toy embargo is over, I will see you, ceaseless Shio. Why is
Oh,
this
the
going on?
restructured. Yeah, the restructured
Toy
Instructors.
embargo
on the bottom.
ended.
Why is he all fuzzy like that?
He's in the water, man. He's in the water.
Scroll down. The restructors. They're super cool. Yeah,
Oh,
those
cool.
guys down there. I love.
What does vanishing mean? That's just what he's called?
I'm not sure. Where do you see vanishing?
Is this not on the showing up? So see in the purple where it says vanishing? Anywhere
I
where it
s-
says
Oh
vanish-
yeah. Oh, that probably means they're selling out soon. Is
Oh,
I
okay.
guess.
Oh, gotta say it like in a cool way. The vanishing. Not like almost gone. And then this guy. Everybody's got this guy.
That's like kind of a variant on Fade In. It's like a. Let me see that. which I'll put up on mine. Kind of looks like Fadent, but
Yeah, a little bit. The head does.
Yeah.
And then these are not figures, right? Or not action figures, the Care Bears.
those, I don't know what those are. Lucky Teddy. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's cool though. But so this is the drop right now up top here.
The top 3 rows. So you have the reds, those kind of red, pinkish color reds, and then you have those kind of coppery gold looking ones.
You and Steph got to have a Glyos show in the works sometime.
Yeah,
coming up, right?
we don't have anything like specifically planned right now, but we're overdue, so we need to get on it. Steph, we need to get on that. I know she's got a bunch of stuff to give away, and
Yeah.
What was that site? Not that I want those, but
Cappy Space.
Cappy Space, yeah.
If you're in Europe, it's Angry Hedgehog. For those, if anybody's watching in Europe,
Yeah, Crimson Shadows. There you go. Like you
Crimson
said.
Shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that. There we go.
So Crimson Shadows was original Action Force, and Bobby carried it over to. Is that right? He carried it over to modern Valiverse stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I thought he made up Crimson Shadow. Like I have no real knowledge of original Action Force aside from it was just G.I. Joe in England or whatever.
It's Palatoy, right? Palatoy made those. Palatoy. These guys. Can I make you bigger? Nah, it's not a great picture. But this is the general idea. I can show it to you. Present share screen. You can get them on eBay. These guys.
Okay.
But that's where like the Robo Skull and everything came from.
mm-hmm.
Right.
And Monster Force.
Yep.
Yes, that's right too. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's totally a tribute to that for sure.
Yeah. Cool.
Red Shadows. That's
Yeah.
what he said.
Cool. So stop screen. Yeah, Steph says you'll like the Angry Hedgehog builds, Trevor.
I will appreciate Andrew. Okay. We'll see.
Drive careful, Archie. All right. Let's give away this gift card. What do you guys say?
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
We're at here. We're at 54 entries. Last chance here. This is your last call to get a $25 gift card to Store Horsemen. That's right. Hashtag last call. Hashtag last call. And all you need to do, if you are the winner, is shoot me your email address, and I will get you out that gift card. Recent winners include Rob Zamora last week. Brian Brink won it. Dave Adams won it. I think that we had one other person who escapes me right now. But again, the general idea here is that we want to help, support the campaign, the Bayathir, the Dragon campaign. And if you are the winner, we hope that you use the $25 gift card to back the Dragon or one of the accessory sets, something like that. But that's it. We're about to pull it right now. 58 entries. Hashtag last call.
If I win, I'm giving it to Brick.
Oh, Brick, here you go. Pressure is mounted. It's not pressure. Listen, Brick, it'd be the greatest decision you ever made. I don't know all of your decisions.
For Brick, I want to say he said it was more about the space.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
And I told him this before. We've all got space for the Dragon as long as we have a floor. All you need is a floor. The Dragon can sit on the floor like a piece of art, like it's 1982, except way cooler.
Put it in a doggy crate.
Yes. Nobody puts Bayathir in the corner. There you go. Brick's got a good attitude about the whole thing. It's support, not pressure. But yes, it's space. You see, Robo is gonna Robo is gonna put his on the dining room table.
Yeah, that was his wife's idea. Yeah,
I like that idea. I don't think that's gonna fly
so
over
you
here.
Eat dinner around it like it's a centerpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, what kind of dining room table do you have, buddy? That's awesome. You must have one of those big ones. All right, 59 entries. Let's pull it. Your chance to back the Bay with a discount In 3, 2, good luck. 1. Here we go. Who's gonna win? Oh yeah.
I know you live in the Bay Area.
Darla!
Oh,
It's so in addition to the 5 that Curtis is buying, now Darla can get one. If she wasn't already, I don't know actually. Congratulations, Darla.
Congrats.
$25 gift card. That's pretty awesome.
Brick, you live in the Bay Area. You got to find an area for the Bay. But that's the thing.
I don't hate it. I don't hate
It's
it.
funny. There's an area of Boston called Back Bay.
Yeah.
Which makes me think of Back
There
Bay.
you go.
Back to Bay.
Darla's here. Congratulations, Darla. No problem. You're very, very welcome. Just wait. Yes, everybody's saying congratulations to Darla. You are very welcome, Darla. All I need is an email address, and I'll get this bad boy out to you. Sorry, I keep clicking the wrong things. There. I still did it again. There we go. All right, there we go. Congratulations, Darla. Let me pull the banner down and take off the screens. Congratulations. So there we go. Doing our part to help back the Bay. Oh, snap. Darla has passed it along to Brick. Brick, you just got a $25 discount, my friend. Pretty sure I have
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll
There
get
it
this.
is.
Congratulations, Brick something.
Congratulations on the new dragon, my friend.
You just got some more support, my friend. Fellas, here we go. Final thoughts on the Bay of the Dragon weekend. Again, and I don't want to let this go by. One thing I've tried to say this whole time is that I wanted to really enjoy this process because it's something that myself and I know a lot of other people have been waiting for a very long time. And I couldn't have been happier with the way that the dragon itself looks, the fact that we're getting cool figures with it. I'm really pumped. Any final thoughts on the whole deal, Trevor?
No, I don't think we're gonna have any problem hitting 4,000. I think anybody who's, I mean, how many times you guys say it? I think if you're on the fence and you have the means with, it's within your means and you're not going to put yourself out. Don't hurt yourself. Don't not pay your rent or heat or whatever. But
it's getting warm though.
I mean, if you've got a budget for the year, it's totally up to you, man. But this is like a once in a lifetime thing, I think. You know what I mean? Yes, we'll probably get another dragon down the line of some sort. Maybe when, I don't know. That's good. What that is, or if it's going to be as big as this or whatever. But so yeah, maybe it's not your last chance in the world. But I think it's awesome. It's incredible. I think it's a great deal when you put all that stuff down. Then you say this is what the price is for everything that you get with just the dragon. 3 figures right there. You know what I mean? Not to mention the other 2. I think it's a good deal. I mean, if you can swing it, it's a great deal. And I think we're going to hit 4,000 by the time the Latin Legions are on tomorrow. I think they might get the scoop. If they can get Jeremy on there.
Should we give predictions here? Trevor, what give me
Total
a specific
final
number. Yeah, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write down our predictions here.
Total final, I'm going to say, where are we? We're at 33 now, just about. I'm going to say 42-40.
42-40. Ryan?
I was going to say 43-25.
Oh, wow.
John?
43-26. No, just kidding.
No, it's not over or under, just closest.
$1.
43-69.
Everybody's putting there. 43-69.
Yep.
This makes mine harder. I was going to say 40. I'm just going to stick with my 4,300. 4,300. We're all right there, huh? Like we're all like, oh, it's going to be around 4,300.
I think it's going to hit 4. I don't know. I mean, who the hell knows, man? I mean, it could go nuts.
I'll put a couple from the chat too. 40.
It's a lot. It's
starters have gone crazy, but it's still a lot for a day.
1,000 pieces in the last 36 hours, a little bit less.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, but I want to be positive, and if I want it to break 4,000, I think it's got a really good shot. Our guesses aren't crazy, I don't think, if that's the case.
I don't think so. 5,000, I think, is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of stretch, if we do hit 5,000, no, I'm just kidding.
Did you guys see Blake? He's been saying 5,500.
I know. Well, I don't know. How many are you
now.
ordering, Blake, to back that up, buddy? I just think that's a lot. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people from outside community who are jumping in. I see a lot of people daily, and it's reflected in the numbers, obviously, there's more and more posts going up. Like, I finally jumped in. I jumped in today. I jumped in, and this is it. So I think there's still going to be a lot of people. I don't know what else is going on besides our stuff over the weekend. I mean, usually the big shows are on Thursday and Friday and stuff like that, and Wednesdays.
Dan Who tomorrow is tomorrow.
Dan Who, I'll probably jump on Dan Who for a little while, because I know Cloud's going to go on there and do her thing and selling it. Maybe I'll just let her do it. I don't have to jump on there. Maybe I will. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, just getting out there to the rest of the community and you know, telling people, reminding people, put it up on your Instagram. There you go.
The sheet of integrity.
That's right. Put it up on your Instagram. The winner, the closest person, gets a dragon. No, they don't.
Dude, if only.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, remind people, because there's a lot of people that, you know, I mean, we're paying attention to this because we're very close to it, but there's still a lot of people who are going to be, you know, Monday's going to come. And you know, even within the cabal,
Who's going to miss
there's
it?
going to be somebody going, is it too late? Did I miss it? Was it yesterday? Like, so just, you know, tell your friends.
Spread the word, yeah.
Let people know.
Remind people.
Because people aren't paying attention and there's a lot going on. So for sure.
And again, it's a luxury item. Pay your bills. Make sure you have it in your budget or whatever. But if it's something you really want to do, and I'm sort of kind of referring to the people that, you know, keep saying that if only it was like 1 week longer or a couple days longer, and you know there's going to be a bunch of posts on Monday that say that if only it was a week longer or whatever. If everything else in your budget is paid for, your bills, your real life stuff, and you would really just need another week or two, look at your different options. Again, you know, I mentioned a bunch of times that as far as the pay in 4 option, for me at least, the first payment didn't hit for the first 2 weeks. So if that makes it a little bit better for your budgeting purposes, it's at least something to look at.
Now you're moving even further. I mean, people who did that earlier on are paying maybe their second payment already, but now you don't even have to pay till May, probably.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say is if you have the means, I don't think this is a bad. I mean, listen. These days, who knows? As an investment, it might be your best investment. As of today,
when the stock market drops 3,000 in a day.
Exactly. It might not be a bad idea.
This dragon's not going to lose like $2 trillion in value. Don't worry.
That's right. But I mean, there's going to be people who want it and can't get it right now. If you're of the means to help somebody down the line, if you order an extra one, if you have that money, it's a lot of money to lay out just in case. But there will be some people who weren't able to get it or are disappointed that they didn't get it. And are, I mean, if you want to, put it up on eBay, great. If you want to help somebody out that didn't get one for a couple bucks extra for the trouble, I think that's fine too. So yeah, think about that.
There you go. Look at Heinrich doing his job, posting it in 8 or 9 non-mythic groups. And Kirby says, and you know what? If you can't back the bay, pick up a swig.
There you go.
There you go.
Pick a swig. Back the bay or pick a swig.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Bill and Trevor, thank you so much for joining us. I know you guys will have another busy weekend. You'll be on a lot of shows and stuff. And Bill, I hope you back that second dragon, my friend.
Very likely.
Rhino, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just looking forward to the 43.25 that we're going to hit so I can be right. Just saying.
Yeah, me too. We putting anything on this, or
I'm going to order 20 more just to get my numbers up if it comes to that, Raga.
Yeah, you're better off going higher
just to win.
So that because you can push it up. You can't push it back down. You can only push it up.
Right, exactly.
All right. Here's the deal. That's it. That's our Saturday Dragon Live. Is it the last Saturday Dragon Live ever? Maybe. It's been a fun month talking about this Dragon campaign with all of you guys out there. Thank you to everybody who stopped in on one of our shows this month. Thank you to everybody who stopped in the chat earlier today. Thank you very much to everybody who will check us out on the replay. I look forward to checking in with a lot of you over the weekend as we wind down the Dragon campaign. Please hit us with a like and a subscribe on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Please check out all of these good gentlemen wherever you can find them, including Rygon, Instagram @ToyGoofandGons. Check out the Dork Lair YouTube channel. Check out Trevor16 Shooter on his YouTube channel as well. We'll see these guys tomorrow throughout the day, and then to end the day on the simulcast of Just Shelve It and Legion's Lounge tomorrow night. Thank you all so much, and until next time, don't forget the number one rule, which is
Be cool.
Cool.
So I'll see you guys in November.